and welcome to Cooking with Gabrielle. Today we're going to learn how to season properly without measuring any of our spices. And this can be done for any meal. All you need to know is a few simple principles in order to apply them. The first spice we're going to use today is garlic powder. Now garlic powder is an excellent addition to almost any meal, but you want to be very careful when you're purchasing it because you can also purchase garlic salt, which is extremely different and not exactly as tasty. So when you're using the garlic, you can pretty much add as much as you want. You'll get to know it a little bit over time, how much to add, but I choose usually to sprinkle it as if I'm feeding a goldfish. Just a little bit on the top, and once you see it like floating or coating it clearly, then you have a nice amount. One of the most complementary spices to garlic would be paprika. It's a grossly underused spice in America, but it's actually used in the cooking of most Asian meals and Indian meals. So it adds a real hearty, full flavor to almost anything you're cooking. If you add it to vegetables, you'll get a better, more filling meal. It's not actually more filling, but it tastes that way because it's more satisfying to the palate. So when you're cooking for maybe your husband or somebody who's not that into vegetables, using spices like paprika and garlic really make the meal a lot more exciting. When you're considering your purchase of salt, not garlic salt, you need to think about a few different things. The first thing I want to let you know is that kosher salt is less salty than other salt. Sea salt is the most salty of all salt. So when you're going to purchase salt and you have kosher sea salt, that's quite rare. And it's actually really awesome because then you get that nice, really big rock and you get the taste of sea salt, and it's really fresh and exciting, but it's a big flavor. So when you're putting something like this on, you're going to put a lot less than when you put something like this on. Now, this is traditional iodized salt. It's iodized so that we get the proper amount of iodine in our diets because a lot of people don't live near the water, and fish contain iodine. So you get a much smaller grain here than the grain that's available as the kosher salt. See a direct comparison. Now, I would say that these parts here are about equivalent, even though it looks like there's half as much sea salt as there is the regular salt. You may have thought that since I have so many different individual spices, I didn't use combination spices that are sold together. But I do often use those. This is a chicken and rib seasoning, and then I also have the Italian blend seasoning. Now the reason for these is that you can buy many spices together for the same price as you'd pay for one. So when you're purchasing individual spices for starting out, it's very, very expensive to get all the spices that you need. So if you could find something like Lowry seasoned salt, which actually contains paprika and garlic and salt, then you can really cut out some of the cost. Many of you really enjoy spicy food, but you're not really sure how to attain that spice at home without going overboard. So I want to talk to you today about cayenne pepper, which is probably one of the lighter forms of peppers that are used in American cooking, as well as Hispanic cooking. So when you're going ahead to make something like tacos or burritos or anything that you want a little kick to it, a little sprinkle of cayenne pepper is going to take you a really long way. This is a very, very, very concentrated product, so I cannot stress that enough that you don't put too much. The first time you use it, I would recommend sprinkling it lightly like you would see paprika on deviled eggs. Just a little bit for color. And then if that's not spicy enough, you can always add hot sauce or more cayenne pepper after you're finished cooking. The last spice that I would like to talk to you about would be chili powder. Chili powder is the base seasoning for pretty much any packet seasoning you're going to find at the grocery store. So when you're looking at maybe the El Paso box and you want to make some fajitas, rather than purchase that for $3, you can instead purchase the quesadillas themselves, which you can usually get 3 times as much for the price, and then have this on hand. Mix it with your cayenne pepper and maybe a little bit of garlic and pepper and salt, as we like. And you're going to come out with the same flavor that you would have using one of those seasoning packets. So I hope you learned a little bit more about seasoning today and that you're ready to try some of this at home. Please leave your comments in the comment section if you have any questions.